Well, okay, it's 4 o'clock, so you must know what time it is. It is time to hear something good. And I'm thrilled to have my friend, my client, the wolf himself, a guy who proves to me that LinkedIn delivers special people all the time. Kenny Puncerelli, CEO of LAI. It is your chance to tell us something good.
All right. Well, thanks, Steve. I appreciate the opportunity and the platform to be here. Happy Friday to everybody. In this post-COVID world that we're kind of living in now, I've started to look at real estate trends, and I've started to identify winners and losers. And, in amongst all that, there's a lot of people with pain in this country. But I think, from a real estate point of view, there are certainly winners and losers, and sort of what I've kind of put things into some silos, if you will, include winners such as housing, industrial, logistics, distribution, fulfillment centers, manufacturing, specifically pharmaceutical manufacturing. I think we're going to see a big movement for that to come back into America. Infrastructure projects, as well as park and recreation. And then when we look at some of the losers, well, big box retail, consumer retail, that was on the edge prior to COVID.
Correct.
Malls are challenged. Movie theaters, it looks like they're starting to open back up again, but they've been hit hard. Large office campuses, fitness clubs, hospitalities, hotels, and restaurants, but we're starting to see some of that come back. So those are kind of two categories that I begin to identify, and maybe there's some ways to reposition and help out some of the ones that are in the not so good category. I hate to use the word loser because it has a really negative connotation, and I like to be a positive guy. But I think that there are some paths forward on the ones that are in the not so good category.
So the short time I know you within the last 6 months. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. Why don't you share with the audience sort of a little bit of the backstory, who you are, what you're the CEO. So tell us a little bit about your firm and sort of how you're managing yourself through this craziness.
Sure. Well, that's a great question. So LAI Design Group was started in 1996. So we're almost 25 years old as a company. We are an architecture, land planning, landscape architecture, visual media, and real estate advisory firm. We do predominantly private sector work, but we do a small percentage of public sector work. And the spaces that we tend to work in are mixed use, multifamily type environments, large scale master plan communities, industrial and automotive, and then clubhouse and recreation. So our team of designers, we're decidedly boutique practice. There's only 25 of us here, but we do work all over the world. We've worked in 30 states, 6 countries, and 3 continents since I started the company. So
you rub it in my face every day that you get to live in just outside of Denver, Colorado. Tell us what's going on in your neck of the woods, as they say.
Yeah. So Denver, Denver's been my home for a little over 30 years. I'm originally from New York and New Jersey as a kid. I grew up on the East Coast, came out to Colorado in the early 1980s. So Denver is really home. We have 300 days of sunshine a year. We have beautiful mountains to look at. We have a very clean downtown mother city of Denver, and then a number of sister cities that are around the metro area. So the state of Colorado has about 6 million people, but it's definitely not as dense as where I'm from on the East Coast. And I think as a result of that, we probably haven't had as many cases of COVID. So that's been a good thing for us out here.
I'm pretty sure. So I've enjoyed, as I said, getting to know you. If you would, I think this is an important lesson for CEOs to learn. Could you share with the audience how we met, the start of it, what lit it up, and like you and I both know that we'll be friends forever, so which is so amazing. So if you could share, I think that there's real power in the story.
Sure, there is power there. So I was just coming off of a merger and acquisition opportunity that didn't work out. I was bummed about it, but in hindsight, I'm glad it didn't work out. But I happened to be just trolling through on LinkedIn on a Saturday morning, and I happened to see a presentation that you were doing effectively in the back seat of a limo. Somebody was driving you, and you were talking about filling pipeline and sales and marketing opportunities, and what was insensitive or sensitive to do during this COVID crisis, and to not curl up in a ball and suck your thumb. Get out there, be active, be focused, and be dedicated. And so I reached out to you on LinkedIn, and as they say, the rest is history. You asked me, how do we know each other? And I said, we've never met before, but I love the energy, I love the attitude, and I'm confident if we knew each other in high school, we would have been terrorizing the halls of Fort Lee High School or wherever we might have been. So that's kind of the story. So.
And I think all great opportunities in life start with a story. So it was equally as good for me. The takeaway that I have from all of that, other than meeting somebody that I enjoy, and I think your take on life is really, really great, and I'll ask you to share some of that. But could you share the story about the blue suede Pumas?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. So this is a good story. So somehow or other, we got to talking about growing up on the East Coast, and I came from a pretty poor background, and I remember it was a big deal in the 4th grade when I got a pair of Puma Clydes, and I was so excited I had them. And the first day that I had them, I'm in the park, and what do I step in but dog crap? I was so pissed, cleaned off the Pumas, and anyway, that was just a little story we were sharing about growing up on the East Coast. Well, about a week later, I get a pair of Pumas in the mail from none other than Steve Noodleberg, and I happen to actually be wearing them.
I love it.
This is casual Friday in the office. Even though there's COVID that's been terrorizing our nation, we've still been quite active. People here working in the office. I'm traveling for projects. Usually each week I've got about a 2 to 3 city tour. So anyway, so
I love it. It really, I think I was more excited about buying and shipping those to you than, and I wished I could have been there to see you open the box. Anyway, it's, we talk about things like that in our market strategy, how we want to physicalize that stuff. But in meeting you, I met somebody who has an incredible zest for life. We talked about it earlier this morning about your dance card is full. So for all of the other CEOs that are listening, all of the other sales professionals, kind of how have you taken the bull by the horns during this time to grow your business, grow your people, and do what wolves do?
Hunt and protect the pack. That's what they do, right? Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I mean Monday through Sunday is a grind. I live a very busy and full life. I work at least 12 hours a day, sometimes more. And on weekends, it's usually about 4 hours a day. But that comes with a lot of wonderful gifts in life, right? But it also comes with a lot of responsibility for people's livelihood. So I tend to put things in buckets for both problem solving. And on my creative side as a architect and landscape architect, but also as a business guy. And so, one of the things that I kind of look at to prioritize that dance card is my family, my occupation, my recreational attributes, and my dreams. So I'm very fortunate to be married to my best friend. We met in the gym 18 years ago. We've traveled all over the world. The funny story about my wife, Cindy, is that the minister who married us never actually filed the marriage license with the state. So we've effectively been practicing without a license.
I did not know that. I did not know that story. That's great.
Yeah, for nearly 2 decades, we've been practicing without a license. There's probably a law against that somewhere. So,
very, very, very cool. So one of the things I admired about you, the more I got to know you, was your philanthropy. I know you do a lot in giving back. And one of the things we came to is this thing about housing and repurposing. So I don't know how you want to get into it, but your attitude of start with the solution, which is a tagline that you came up with, you're running with. Could you speak to the audience about, because I think it will inform people about how to manage their time and their energy with ideas that can really help people?
Yeah, so in life, I've never been a complainer, because complaining doesn't solve a problem. So, being a design professional that happens to have a finance degree and background as well, I'm a left brain, right brain guy. So I always like to start with the solution, because we know what the problem is, no matter what it is. And I think most people know what the problems are. So where they're all challenged is coming up with solutions. So that's kind of my business. That's what we do at LAI Design Group. And so, we have a housing crisis, not only in America, but we have one around the world. And there are so many opportunities to either do adaptive reuse and redevelopment to convert, for example, dead shopping centers into town centers with housing. That's one solution. Or in South Africa, I became part of a home building company over there called SA Modular, and their website is samodularhousingsolutions.com. And basically what we've done is we've designed panelized housing, which is very new to that market over there, because they use brick and mortar. And the marked difference is you can have a home that you're living in and occupied within 3 weeks. So from dream to reality in 3 weeks, quartz countertops, fully tricked out, nice home. And it's actually better construction because of the insulation properties and modern construction and building science that backs the design. So much better than brick and mortar, which could take a month or two, and logistics about getting material shipped or stolen from a job site. These houses go up so fast and people are occupying, there really isn't time for job site theft and other negative things to happen. So it's a really wonderful thing that's happening over there.
How do you see that playing in the United States? Because I think, one of the things that the pandemic has done is made the rich richer and the poor poorer, if you will. So housing is going to be a situation here. Is that solution in South Africa something that could come here?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we've been finding success with is working with local building departments and planning and zoning boards to rethink some very antiquated zoning and land use statutes or ordinances. And what I mean by that is they have minimum square footages of housing that you can put on a piece of property. They have minimum lot sizes. Well, all that does is perpetuate more expensive housing. And we have to get back to thinking about what happened in the 1920s or the early 1900s when a home was built. It was built to accommodate a couple of people, and then as time went on and families grew, you were able to add on. But, you know, with today's lifestyle and everything, most people can't afford to do that either. So the alternative is, hey, design some cool looking houses that are modestly priced and you know, something that somebody can afford that's between 600 and 1,300 square feet that has 2 to 3 bedrooms and different options that come with that. So I'm actually working with a colleague in Miami looking at West Palm Beach area and the Community Redevelopment Authority to see how we can integrate some of these housing solutions that we're doing in South Africa locally in America. Houses are cute, they're cool. Anybody I ever show them to loves them and thinks they're awesome. So.
And clearly there's a need for what you're talking about. So, you know, I applaud you for getting out in front of it. So there's so much that I can talk to you about. I want to keep this, you know, in bite-sized bunches so that people can digest it. When we got to know each other, we talked about references to the wolf, and I talked about it at the top of the show. Could you sort of share with people that character trait or how we came to that? And, you know, clearly the picture on your LinkedIn thing of you petting a wolf was like, dude, what are you doing? So if you don't mind sharing that with our audience, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, so that's a great story. So about, I think it was 3 years ago, our office closes during the Christmas and New Year's holiday. So we're off for effectively about a week and a half. And my wife and I went to the wolf sanctuary down in Divide, Colorado, which if you don't know where that is, it's due west of Colorado Springs by probably an hour or so. So it's a long drive from Denver. And we went to the wolf sanctuary, did the tour, but then we paid extra to go into the pen with the wolves. So she had 2 white colored male wolves that were hanging around her. And then the one that came up to me, it came up to me at first, and his hair is the same color, except he's better looking than I am. And I pet him, and I had to really restrain myself because I just wanted to love this creature. He was so majestic and beautiful and just stunning. And I held back because I was like, you can't play with this like it's a dog because he'll eat you. So what I did was I was just chill. And then he came back to me and he hung out with me for like 15 minutes. And I just thought to myself, wow, this must be my brother from another mother because our hair is the same color and he was just awesome. And I've always felt like frankly, no offense to my mom and stepdad, but I always felt like I was raised by wolves. So it's come full circle. So
I absolutely love it. So it's a Friday afternoon. Most people are getting ready to, take off for happy hour and do whatever they do. Leave us with some parting words for today, for the weekend, for what do you want to leave us with that's something good? I know you'll be working over the weekend because we're in touch. So just leave us with some parting words to take us through Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday.
Sure. So there's a lot of negativity in America right now, and it breaks my heart because I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and I know a lot of people that are in law enforcement, a lot of people that are ex-military. My cousin Jimmy Petrolia was a Navy SEAL, and he retired after 20 years. And so I would encourage anyone who's willing to, put in the work, stay focused, actively participate every day in your dreams and goals and not let bullshit distractions get in the way. You can have the American dream because America is still the best place on the planet to make something of yourself. And I got to tell you, I'm testament to that.
Drop the mic. You were a phenomenal guest, as I knew you would be, and I want you to promise me that you'll come back, in short order and give us an update. But thank you for being my friend. Thank you for all the things you're doing in the community, and I will post your information so that people who want to talk about real estate and all the things you do can find you. You are a tremendous human being. Thank you for your time, and that is something good, my friend.
Thank you, and go Wolves.
I love it.